Hey everybody, it's Kelly with Inky Hands Warm Hearts. How are you guys? I'm so excited to be here with you today. I am bringing you this really fun card. It's very simple, but it is a beautiful card. And I think sometimes it's hard to make masculine cards. I think this is a great masculine card. You don't even have to put a bow if you don't want to. You could just tie it and put it behind there, behind this piece. But I think the bow is nice. And I love this stamp set. It's called Grassy Grove, and it is available in the annual catalog as well as the dies that go with it. The dies are called Grove dies. They're pretty cool. For this card in particular, I'm not using the dies. I'm just using the stamp set. And let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to show you how to make this cool card. So the first thing that we're going to need is our base of our card. And the base is a piece of basic white thick cardstock. It is 5.5 by 8.5. And I have scored it at 4 1/4 in the center here. I'm going to go ahead and close the card. By doing that, I join the 2 points, and then I grab my bone folder, and then I press it down. And then I make sure I reverse it so that I make sure that I have the opening on the right side. We're using some of this gorgeous designer series paper. It's called Design a Daydream. It's a host paper pack. You can earn it free with a $150 order or a party of $150. You can choose to do a class with your friends. And as long as the sales equal $150, this is one of the items that you can choose. It's a great pack of paper. We're going to go ahead and use that. That's 5 1/4 by 4 inches. Then we're going to use 2 pieces here. Our basic white is 2 7/8 by 4 1/8. And our Mossy Meadow is 3 by 4 1/4. And these are going to be layered. This is what's going to form this middle section. On the inside, I have another piece of the same designer series paper. It's 3/4 by 4. And that is going to go down here on the inside of our card. So let me move all this to the side. We'll start the assembly process. And the linen thread that I'm using is about 22 inches or so. So let's go ahead and get started. This is quite exciting, I think. I'm going to grab a scrap piece of, I don't know what to call it, but it's just an old piece. I like to reuse everything. And so I'm going to use that to do my stamping. Let's go ahead and get the stamping out of the way, and then we'll assemble our card. So at the bottom here, we're going to use this beautiful background. It's kind of like a little range of nature here. And I'm going to put it along this bottom edge, and we're going to use crumb cake for that. So because this is such a large stamp, I'm actually going to stamp it like this, depositing that color of ink all the way across and making sure that it is all over. And I'm going to go ahead and put that a little bit higher than the bottom, because I want to put some grass down along the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and put that there. There we go. So this piece here, you can see there's still a little ink there from the edges where it met the scrap paper, but I'm going to go ahead and clean it. Sometimes when you have a big stamp like this, it's easier to clean by picking up your chamois and stroking it across. Even though it has lots of ink on it, it is not ink that will get on my hands. It stays in the chamois. It grabs that ink and kind of holds on to it. All right, so let's go ahead and do our leaves and our grass at the bottom. So I'm using Old Olive. Okay, and I'm going to ink this stamp right here and Old Olive. And I think it's a beautiful stamp. So I'm going to pull it down here, and I'm going to stamp it twice. I'm going to stamp it once right there, and then once again right there. Okay, we're just kind of filling in that area, and then with the I'm going to stamp off, and I'm going to do a second layer of that green behind it, so it's not that stark white harshness that we have there. I think that looks amazing. So let's go ahead and keep this Old Olive out, but I am going to clean that stamp and get it out of the way. We're not using this one again. All right, so next is our trees, and our tree line is also gonna be in Old Olive. So I'm gonna ink this up, and I'm gonna start the first set of trees all the way down right here. And I'm gonna kind of put them a little bit off the cardstock. And that's our first set of trees. And while it's still inked, I'm gonna stamp off, and I'm gonna do a light piece off this side, okay? And see how it just gives it a little bit of light. And we're gonna grab this one, and then this one's gonna, I didn't mean to stamp off. Where this one's gonna be, I'm gonna lower my tree line, okay? So this one kind of looks like it's in the front, just like that. So that is my little set of trees. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean my tree stamp. All right, and now comes our deer. And our deer is going to be in soft suede. So I'm gonna grab this soft suede ink pad. And we are gonna stamp our deer. I'm gonna nice and inked, nice and wet. And we are gonna put him kind of in this middle section right here. But I want him down near the grass. So I definitely wanna make sure that I have his little feet near the bottom here. He's nice and dark, so he's gonna show very easily. There he is, and he will lighten as the ink seeps into the cardstock, so don't worry, he's not going to be that dark. All right, so we're going to clean this off because we're going to do another deer on the inside, but we're going to use crumb cake. But one more time before I put away the soft suede, in this bottom corner here, I'm going to use this thank you stamp, and I'm stamping soft suede onto this piece of designer series paper right in this corner here. Just like that. So there's my thank you. All right. So like I told you, we're going to stamp our deer one more time, but let's start assembling our card. I'll pull the crumb cake, put my deer on it so I won't forget to put them on the inside. Let's go start working on this outside of the card. So we know that this piece of designer series paper goes first, so let's go ahead and glue it down. I don't need this scrap right now, but I am going to grab my silicone mat because whenever I do adhesive, I just like to make sure that I have my silicone mat handy. And I am going to be running some adhesive just like that, because this is going to get flat, glued flat onto my base, which is our thick basic white. And then this piece of designer series paper is 5 1/4 by 4, and it's just going to leave 1/4 of an inch or 1/8 of an inch on each side, but it's 1/4 of an inch smaller than my basic white piece. You can see how pretty that looks. All right, so now I want to go ahead and attach this layer together. So I'm going to move this to the side. We're going to put some adhesive on the back of our cardstock. And we're going to attach that onto the Mossy Meadow. And that piece, again, is 2 7/8 by 4 1/8. This basic white that we stamped on. And the Mossy Meadow is 3 by 3 1/4. So again, this one's going to have a very slight border all the way around. So I just want to make sure. There we go. You see our deer is getting a little lighter, and it will continue to lighten as we as it seeps into the cardstock. So now on the inside of the card, I want to go ahead and attach this piece of designer series paper, and it's going to go along the bottom. So I just want to make sure to go all the way around. And it's going to go at the bottom. Just like that. And then we're going to stamp our deer right here. I'll show you the inside of my sample. So it's just going to go in that corner on crumb cake. So let's go ahead and open our crumb cake ink pad. Ink up our cute little deer. And he's going to go right in this bottom section. Looks awesome. And since it's a thank you card, we want to leave a little bit of room in there because usually thank you cards tend to have a lot of writing in them, right? Because we're thanking people for whatever reason, and we write to them. I love sending thank you cards. All right. So now let's go ahead and work on our linen thread. So this is about 22 inches of linen thread, and I want to pull this so that it's about even. And it doesn't matter how high or low it is. I'm going to go around. Oh, I did the wrong way. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm going to turn it backwards, sorry. And slide this underneath. I'm a mess some days, I'm telling you. But hey, if you're perfect, let me know. Because I most definitely am not. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and join these two corners. Then I'm going to cross them. And then I'm going to work my way to the front. Okay? And I'm going to go ahead and tie a knot right here in the center. And then I'm going to slide this linen thread up, because if I slide it up, then it will be right where I want my bow to be. So I'm just going to go ahead and tie that knot. And then once I have the knot, see, I can move this around. So I'm going to put it about right halfway on that white space is where I want it. Okay. And then I'm just going to tie a bow. So I'm just going to bring this around and loop it through, all that good stuff. And once I have it the way I want it, I like to pull on these ends, make sure that my bow looks how I want it to look, has the right size loops and all that good stuff. Once I'm happy with it, I'm going to bring in my paper snips here, and I'm just going to trim it. I do want it long, but not too long, so we're going to trim those. And then we are going to add some dimensionals to the back of this card. Okay, let's get this bow to lay where I want it. Okay, so we're going to flip that over. I'm going to grab my dimensionals, and I'm going to put at least 4, but you guys, if you watch me at all, I tend to over-dimensionalize, which means I put way too many dimensionals. So you don't have to put as many as I am, but I like my projects to be super stable. It definitely takes a lot of effort for me to design my projects, and I enjoy them. I enjoy the effort, but I want it to last for the people that receive my projects. So I make sure that it would look how I would want it to look if I was receiving it. So I just kind of put a little extra, but you don't have to put this many. 4 in the corner, 1 in the middle should be fine. I do like having that extra one down the sides, though, I'll tell you that. I didn't know if that one was off or not, and it is. Okay, so now we're going to bring our card back in here. Oh, I love this. I think this bow is so pretty. It's so delicate, but yet rustic, you know? So we're going to bring this to the top. We want the 2 sides to be about equal. We want to have a little bit of room there on the top. And when I'm happy with it, before I press it down, I got to stand it up so I can make sure, because sometimes when I'm sitting, I can't tell. Okay, so I'm going to bring this. And then I'm going to go ahead and press those corners down, the ones on the side, the 2 in the middle. And there is our card. Let's put some embellishments on there, of course. The more the merrier. So I'm using the solid faceted gems. I love that they have this beautiful dark green color. And I like to use those. So I'm going to do 1 large one this time. I did all 3 small last time, but I think I'm going to do a large one down here and then 2 small ones. Put 1 in this corner, and we'll put 1 over here. Love it. There we go. I think that turned out amazing. Let me go through the dimensions one more time for you guys, just to make sure in case you missed it. Or if you want to pause the video and grab something to write with. The basic white thick was our base. It was 5.5 by 8.5. The designer series paper was 5.25 by 4. This layer of Mossy Meadow, which is the matte for this white on the middle, was 3 by 4.25. Then the basic white, which is regular basic white, was 2 7/8 by 4 1/8. The inside designer series paper was 3/4 by 4. And then I used about 22 inches of linen thread, give or take. Soft suede, crumb cake, old olive was my ink colors. And the paper is Design a Daydream. It's part of our hostess. So if you guys do not have a demonstrator, I would love to be your demonstrator. Please give me a thumbs up for this video. I would really appreciate that. Share my video. You can even share it to your Pinterest if you want to make this card later. You'll know where to go for sure to get what you need. So thanks for being here. I really, really appreciate having you on my channel. Please share my videos and help me spread the word so that I can keep growing. I am so grateful. And if you wouldn't mind tossing me a comment and letting me know what you think of the video, that would be very much appreciated. Ask your friends to subscribe as well if you think they would enjoy my content. And you guys have an awesome day. Don't forget, Grassy Grove, that's the stamp set and dies of the week. Come back for another video. Tomorrow I'll be live. On Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I am live, so definitely check that out if you are interested. And I will see you next time. This is Kelly with Inky Hands Warm Hearts. Happy stamping!